Coach, you've had experience coaching in conference championship games in the SEC when you were at Florida and Ohio State in the Big Ten. Is there any difference in preparation for a championship game than a regular season game?
Yeah, I remember it was yesterday. At Utah, Bowling Green in Utah, there were no championship games. And I remember I first went to Florida, and the big rival at Florida is who? Florida State. And Florida State was a top 10 program back then. So I just remember the fatigue factor. Your coaches were exhausted by the time. So I remember we played Florida State. I mean, we're in the championship game. And I remember coming in on Sunday, and I thought, man, if I feel like this, I know people do all the work. The players are just shot. I know they're excited, but you got to temper that enthusiasm and do what? Get their bodies back. So I would really reduce practices. I would pull the pads off on a Wednesday as well. But I would also change things up. You know, that old saying that how do you get, it's some theory, but how do you increase production? You know, in corporate America, you paint the walls of the office and all of a sudden production goes up. Right. You come back 5 years later, paint them the same color they wore, guess what happens? Production goes up just because it changed. And so I would change where we would eat dinner, eat lunch, something. I would make it different. I would have a guy walk around the Big Ten championship sign. You know, I want to get in the minds of the players. Exhaustion is really real. We're going to talk about Ohio State. That's not an issue this week. But you're exhausted. Sometimes you're banged up because usually when you're playing Florida State before a championship game, when you're playing the team up north before a championship game, fatigue and, you know, the injury factor is real.
So let's look at Northwestern Ohio State. Northwestern coming off a win against their rival Illinois. Ohio State week off. Emotionally, or the intangibles, advantage Northwestern, advantage Ohio State?
I'd have to say advantage Northwestern. You know, obviously I'm very close to Ohio State, and I talk to Ryan Day quite frequently. And the last thing that Ohio State needs right now is more Zoom time and time off. They've had it. The players are getting ready to say, Uncle, we want to go play. We've trained our entire year for this. Don't call us again on a Wednesday and say you're not playing. Why do you do this? Don't do this to practice. At some point, no more practices. You know, and if they have to do another inside drill, I'm sure the players are going to say, why are we doing this? Right. I want to go play someone other than ourselves. You know,
a little bit off the subject, all the young people that have participated this year deserve tremendous credit. I can't imagine how hard it's been.
Well, Ryan Day, did you see this? Where he came out and he said, I'm tired of giving our players bad news.
Yeah, it's a great line.
And the one thing that we're all humans is that humans want to be around humans. And right now you're not allowed to. Right. And those humans a lot of times are who? Those you love and those you care about. Your family and your closest friends. By the way, Jerry, you're not allowed to go see your family for 7 weeks. How would you, I mean, that, yeah. And we're kind of, you know, we're not 18 years old. Right. So
it's real.
You know, someday there'll be a case study on the mental health of the student athletes, what they've gone through. And I can't wait to read that book.
Right. You know, one thing about this game is you got two fairly young coaches. And
is Fitzgerald still young?
Yeah,
don't say that.
We'll give him one more year of being young. My point is the game's in good hands when it's in the hands of people like Pat Fitzgerald and Ryan Day.
Oh yeah, what's the commonality of, you know, you feel the same way, I feel the same way, obviously. They care deeply for those they coach. Right. This is not, I can promise you this is not about Pat Fitzgerald. You know, he's never put himself in front of his team. And then you see Ryan Day he's really good offensive coach, but more importantly, he cares deeply for those he coaches.